scraping a length of pipe to get it around a bend in the house. But now he loved being close to the land and all that green. It was quiet, peaceful. Well, it was peaceful once he'd done his work for the day, and when he could get over to the farm. Not long now. Not far to his tiny room in that strange house with the loopy woman and all them WAAFs on the floor below. According to Freddie, they were moving on to the next job in a couple of days, though this stop had been a good one, lot of work to do, so the crew had stayed longer, had a chance to settle in a bit, get to know a few locals. And there was the overtime, more money to send home. He stopped. Blimey, my noddle hurts. He pressed his fingers to his temples, massaging the bluish, thin flesh. It wasn't only the emulsion that was giving him the pain, though he was sure it was doing a fair job of killing off a few brain cells. There had been nothing but trouble since he'd come here. Not being in the country trouble, and not work trouble, no, it was people trouble. He wanted to stay, but because of the other business, he wanted to get going. If he had to stick with this job, like his dad said he should, then he wanted to get on with it. He wanted to move on soon, and soon couldn't come fast enough, because his heart would break anyway, leaving the old boy. If only he hadn't... But what was it his dad always said? You can't look back, son. Not in this life. No, you can only look forward and step out in its direction. And when he'd said, What direction? His dad had said, The future, son. The future. Always look to your future. Well, the future wasn't turning out to be the one he wanted. Instead, the future was the next place, another airfield, and this painting job. The past was 2 days ago, and 2 blokes he would rather not see again, though he knew he would. But for now he wanted to forget it. Forget them. Christ, this head! The boy walked on, along the path by the stream, then across the rickety wooden bridge, down an alley, a shortcut to his landlady's house. Freddie would wake him later, when he came staggering back, in his cups, making more noise because he was trying to be quiet. But the boy knew he'd at least get a bit of shut-eye before he had to pretend to be interested in Freddie bragging about a girl he'd been eyeing up, how they didn't all go for a man in uniform, so he was in with a chance. Which was just as well, because Freddie wasn't giving up this job in a hurry. Reserved occupations, it was. And he'd said he had no bleemin' intention of joining the army and going the way of his father, and look what happened to him the last time the country went to war. What was that? The boy turned and looked back, stood for a second, perhaps 2. Nothing. Just country sounds. Probably someone's cat on the prowl. And then the pain again. But this time it was different. This time it was sudden. A deep, terrible, searing crack across his skull. Night-time turned to light, turned to lots of light, and he could hear his father telling him to look to the future. But the shock felled him, brought him to his knees, and then another wave of pain across his head again, taking him down, grinding his cheek into the path's loose gravel. He reached up with his fingers, shaking fingers he could not seem to steer, and he touched his head and brought back his hand wet with his own blood. He felt tears begin to stream from his eyes. Oh, he missed his mum. He missed his dad. And in that moment he even missed London. Then there was nothing more to think. No other thoughts crossed the boy's mind, and time felt so slow, so very slow, though he could hear voices, long, drawn-out voices. One seemed familiar, and he struggled to find the right word to call out to that person, but the word that was the person's name just would not come, and he did not know if it was a man or a woman. And as he felt his body being lifted, the street light ahead grew faint, and at once he knew his breath was shallow, and then more shallow, and his heartbeat was slowing down.